project started 4 years ago.
Yeah, we're just coming up on 4 years.
Wow, this is a huge project.
Yes, this is how many $1 million?
This is just under 200 million.
Okay.
189 right
Thank you.
now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We have cards in our office when we get there.
And we're coming close to occupancy, which means they're completely done with all construction.
Okay.
As you see when you get in there, there'll be a little bit going on, and then there's a phase 2 to build out some of the upper floors.
Okay.
That's the big hospital right there, right?
Started that 4 years ago.
How many rooms?
How many patient beds?
280 something?
Yeah, the height 200.
200.
Okay.
About 200.
It looks very high tech,
Yes, very high tech.
very modern.
Very modern.
Yeah, and it's tied to the existing facility too, so there's remodels taking place
We're
on the
in the,
existing and we move
We're in the
patients back.
5-story parking garage.
So there's a campus plan that went on here that's about a $500 million campus plan.
I see.
To include these office buildings off to the side and this parking structure.
Okay.
The parking structure was actually designed to carry the load of all these trailers up here, knowing for future construction what was going to take place. They have renovations on all their emergency imaging departments and a bunch of patient areas for care in the existing hospital to include a seismic improvement project, so that the hospital itself can carry on and continue doing services past the year 2030. So they had to do a seismic improvement across the board. The new tower will carry services throughout that time because it's a brand new project.
Okay.
Like Morty was saying, that's tied to the existing facility as soon as we go and we get our occupancy.
Okay. So there's more land in this property that they're going to expand out?
They end up knocking stuff down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So this is the parking garage.
So this structure here is probably 4 years old.
Oh,
They
I
built this and that building right there
Uh-huh.
to accommodate the parking that they took away, because that used to be all parking where that tower sits right now.
I see. So over here is what, the pharmacies? And
Yeah, that's like a medical office building.
Okay.
For doctors. Like this was cancer research.
Okay.
Part of how Frank was saying they're going to tear down some of the older buildings. A lot of it's to do with the seismically. It doesn't meet the federal standards.
You're talking about this building?
No, around back behind.
Oh, back
You'll
there.
see that.
That our new tower
You'll
connects
see as we
to.
walk up.
I see.
So there's a lot of facilities across California that have to do that, where they find it's cheaper to build a new structure and tear down the old one
Right.
than to try to upgrade what they
Right, right.
currently have.
It's very efficient to have the doctor office close
Oh,
next
yeah.
to the hospital, so that they can see the patient.
Well, a lot of how this patient tower is built is due on the influence on what kind of doctors they want here. So a lot of doctors drive what kind of services are in these buildings in the first place.
I didn't think it was that.
Specific services that they already had on site, like Roy was saying, for doctors who request certain things like imaging tools, that's in the existing facility, and that's also under renovation.
We've done Children's Hospital of Orange County that was dedicated to pediatrics.
So the yellow structure is the old
Yes.
hospital, and then we just build this new, which is gray color,
Yep.
the new
All the
hospital
gray.
next to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the old one too, right?
No.
This is actually a doctor's office.
Old office, doctor's
Oh,
office.
okay, and this is new?
And
This is new.
Okay, this is new.
Yeah,
And this is
what was
new.
sitting here prior in this corner up against the existing hospital was a medical office building like you see here, except it was about 25 years old.
I see.
So again, everything's driven off of revenue. That medical office building won't make the revenue that this hospital will. So they
Okay.
got rid of that office building, gave them a new one on the corner, then bought, put this new one up.
That's great.
Whole community medical building, which is for the doctors.
Yeah.
That very humble, very old, and the one is like 10 times bigger, maybe.
Yeah. This is huge.
We're hoping to see patients here in 3 months.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it's not open yet.
No.
But I see a
They
lot
are
of.
going through the certification
Yeah, they
process.
get
I
occupied.
see a lot of car parked there. What's
Yeah,
that for?
only staff is allowed in here right now.
Oh.
No
So
patients.
all
The
those
nurse,
parking are for
the
staff?
doctor,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And for the other hospitals, there's another hospital they're together. That old building.
Oh,
that's
I see.
An actual hospital.
I see.
So, Alan, is this hospital, after they're being built, they have to be certified by the government
Uh huh. I see.
to make sure that it meets the
So it can grand
standard.
open. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be
Wow. So
licensed.
pleasant in here. Is this like a lunchroom area?
Yeah, this is your general dining,
Okay.
cafeteria, then you have doctor's dining, which is a private dining room on the left over
Mhm.
there. Whenever you do a brand new tower, typically you put a brand new kitchen in it
Uh-huh.
because of the requirements for licensing for providing food to
Okay. To the
to
patients.
the patients.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a huge kitchen. Wow.
So everyone go to the cafe here, but the doctor has that
Yeah,
separate
this is
room
private
for
dining, yeah.
dining. And this is for the public.
Yep, correct.
We can go through the kitchen.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll go through here and we'll go to the back of the house.
So it's like a buffet style, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Different themes.
One of the hospitals we did in Huntington, in Pasadena, has its own wood-fired pizza.
Oh wow. That's nice. Wow, look at all the mixing machines. This is amazing. Awesome. Wow. Coolers.
Yeah, they have to keep it a little higher standard due to the health department coming through all the time checking where
Yeah.
little cracks or nooks,
Mhm.
they'll fail their inspection.
Yeah. This is all brand new equipment. Really?
Dry storage.
Yeah, there's a fire suppression system over all the
Out there,
cooking
material
utensils.
all is locked.
So the idea here is these are certified. This is very, very high end, meeting all of the
Right.
highest standard for hospital.
Okay. I see
And
that.
that is very important,
Yeah.
right? If we want to have a hospital in Southeast Asia that meet the standard,
So
this is it.
to add on to what you're saying, the toughest place to build in all of the world is a hospital in California,
Okay.
primarily because of seismic requirements. Then you also have all the firefighting requirements because you don't have the ability to take a patient and just cart them out. They could be hooked to too much machinery. So we have an entire infrastructure above ceiling and in wall that is required to run to a certain extent magnitude earthquake and fire. You won't pull somebody out of the room, you'll close the door and the nurses will stay with some of the patients and take care of them. And they'll have an hour and a half to 2 hours. Firefighters will come in and remove them if need be, but they're supposed to defend in place. And that's really only going to be prevalent in California. The next highest standard is Florida. And then the next one beyond that is New York.
Wow.
The rest of the world doesn't really build to those types of standards. And you can see when we have kind of catastrophic events elsewhere, you would wish they could. Because if so, we wouldn't have to have these kind of,
I
you know,
see.
So it need to withstand fire for an hour and a half.
hour and a half, 2 hours in some situations. So like that room we just passed, dry storage, that's your storage areas have 2 hours of separation because if a fire starts in there, which is a lot of combustibles are stored, you don't want that to get out of that space and then give the firefighters enough time to contain it. Plus, new buildings are required to have fire sprinklers
All the
throughout.
sprinkler, yeah.
So it's a 100% sprinkler building, and then up in all the duct systems and everything, it has the ability to shut down the ducts to contain fire within areas. So right across that wall, every duct that penetrates there, there's a fire damper. When we initiate this alarm, all those dampers shut.
I see.
Because you don't want the fire to go through the duct to get to
Right.
other
Use it
areas
as
of
a
the building,
conduit to spread.
Yeah.
Exactly.
which could start very quickly.
Exactly. So there's to stop the spread of fire. That's what it's like throughout this whole building. Hence why the buildings cost so much to build in California.
Right.
This same hospital to do it in Texas might cost you about $75 to $80 million.
Wow, half-
Here it's gonna
over
cost-
half.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have people like Skanska who build hospitals throughout the world. They did a 900-bed hospital in Scandinavia, and that hospital cost about $112 million. That same hospital here would be about $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So
If you do it in like certain area of the hospital, let's say in Thailand,
Mhm.
you build it so that it has a strict requirement.
Mhm.
And then in some other floor of the hospital, you relax it a little bit.
you
Depends,
could.
depends on,
Yeah.
it just depends on the design that you're going for and what the purpose is. Like if you have OR rooms, you would probably, yes, you would probably want it to fit in place. But if you had like administrators, then you'd kind of relax the requirement on.
So yeah, so to take that a step further, a lot of these hospitals, you'll have different types of construction. And what I mean by type is type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5. You'll have a certain portion of the hospital that's actually got a higher rating associated with it than an adjoining area in the same building. Now, California will do that. It's a little bit of a rarity in a hospital. And as you see, as we go to the back of the house, the central plant where all the mechanisms that keep the building running, that area has concrete masonry unit walls to separate that. And then within that space, it has other alarm systems just for refrigeration and things like that, so that people aren't harmed in case of an
The
expel.
reason I'm raising that is let's consider some country in Southeast Asia. Right now, the embassy or consular personnel, if they have a medical attention that need to stay in the hospital, they have to fly all the way to Singapore
Oh, okay.
for treatment.
Right.
They cannot be treated in Southeast Asia other than in Singapore.
Because of the level of care they can provide at the facility.
Because there is no certified hospital, and there's no hospital that they can claim medical insurance. For example, U.S. personnel, right? They are qualified, they are covered by insurance, but they cannot go to a hospital that are not certified.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking about this question, and there is a demand for that.
You know what, it seems like it would make sense, and like Morty was saying with the facilities that are around here, Loma Linda, they're doing a large project right now. If they don't get their new tower built, their existing facility will become non-compliant. And when it becomes non-compliant, it no longer is eligible for the reimbursements from the federal agencies. So all the people that do like Blue Shield and things like that, they won't make reimbursements to that company because they no longer have a compliant building. So I guess if you built a compliant building with the services that are required for those different entities, you could get those reimbursables at that point.
So that is why there's so much interest in having a U.S. certified hospital in Southeast Asia, and that is a lot more than just the structure itself. And have medical doctors that are certified to oversee all of those things.
Understood. So I guess in that situation, like when they're building here, you get an owner like this facility